What's up, everybody? Welcome to One More Round. And before we get started, I know exactly what you're thinking. Oh great, another 30-something-year-old having a midlife crisis probably needs therapy. And you're right. But why go to therapy when you can just start a podcast? But this isn't just another combat sports podcast. Here we talk about MMA and boxing theories, conspiracies, have exclusive interviews from fighters and celebrities, and keep you up to date on all things combat sports. Additionally, I provide some high-level insight on placing parlays that are absolutely guaranteed to never hit. Lastly, we close every show with a segment where we talk about close fights and how they would end if there was just one more round. Now let's get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Right off the bat, we're joined by two very special guests. President Trump and President Biden stopped by to talk all things MMA. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. I apologize. I am far too busy with the inauguration around the corner. I only have a few minutes to spare, but it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you for having me on. Donald, how the heck are you? You know, back in the day, I used to train UFC. I beat up Muhammad Ali once.
And can I get your guys' thoughts on this weekend's main event?
Well, I think Khabib will easily take this fight. He's a man of great skill and is yet to be tested or lose a fight.
Joseph Khabib is retired. I think Islam will win this easy. He is coached by Khabib Numer Khabib, a great guy. Always struggled with his last name. He has a hard last name, doesn't he? But great guy, amazing fella. He is. He's my favorite fighter, actually.
And Mr. Biden, who is your favorite UFC fighter?
My favorite UFC fighter is probably Stone Cold Steve Austin. He really knows how to put on a show. Easily my favorite.
Mr. President, Stone Cold Steve Austin doesn't fight MMA.
Oh, well, ain't that something?
What's the number one fight that you both have to see this year?
Great question. John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. I was in New York when John won. He looked great, and it was a wonderful fight. I just might deport him if he doesn't fight Tom.
But John Jones is a legal citizen, Mr. President.
Yeah, he probably is.
Okay, sure. And what about you, Mr. Biden?
With Aaron Pico being a free agent, I would love to see him in the UFC and taking on a top lightweight contender. Him against Dustin would feed families for days.
Wow, that's actually a pretty good fight. If I'm being quite honest, I didn't really expect that answer from you, but I too would love to see that fight. And lastly, before I let you go, Donald J. Trump versus Joseph Biden in their primes. UFC Octagon. Who wins?
Well, if I am being completely honest with you, I will say this. Back in my day, I was a tough SOB. I would make sure he lives up to his nickname, Sleepy Joe. I gave him that nickname, because he always looks asleep. I finish him in 2 rounds.
Donald Trump talks a lot of smack. He doesn't know a thing about me in my prime. If it was me against him, I promise you that I would score way more baskets than him any day of the week.
I'm sorry, I have to get going now. It was a pleasure being on here. You have quite the podcast, I must say. I see big things in your future. Everyone, please tune in to One More Round every Friday. If you don't subscribe, comment, like, and share. You don't love America. Thank you, and God bless.
Me and Donnie here don't agree on many things, but one thing I do agree with is that this podcast is going to do great things. Whenever you need me, bang my line.
All right, gentlemen. I just want to say it was an absolute pleasure having you both on today, and thank you for joining the show. Best of luck to you both. Well, there you have it, folks. That's the beautiful thing about this sport. 2 people can disagree on many, many things, but everybody can agree on one thing and one thing only. Carol Baskins is up. You've all already heard the news. Arman Tsarukyan is out of his lightweight title fight against Islam Makhachev. Steps in Renato Money Moicano on 1 day's notice. There's all sorts of rumors for the reason Arman had to pull out. Was it a bad weight cut? Did he hurt his neck trying to impress Nina? Well, lucky for you guys, I was able to obtain exclusive footage on how Arman hurt himself. Sources close to the situation confirmed that Arman injured his back practicing the secret move he's been mentioning all week. This right here is the secret move in question. Take a look. Lastly, let's close out the show with one more round. Here we ask the question, what would the outcome of a fight be if there was just 5 more minutes? This weekend, we are discussing Islam Makhachev versus Alexander the Great Volkanovski. February 11th, 2023, UFC 284, Perth, Australia. Give me your thoughts in the comments below on if you think Alexander Volkanovski could have pulled the upset if there was just 5 more minutes. Thank you all.